Hey folks, John Ferguson Smart here. I want to tell you today that I'm actually not a fan of test automation. Now that may sound a little bit odd. Why would I say that I'm not a fan of test automation? Well, let me explain. Test automation, in the sense of automating test scripts, of automating test cases, is a time-consuming and painful and slow process that happens at the wrong end of an agile flow. It's an old school approach that dates back 20, 30 years. It's what we were doing in the very first days of test automation. It doesn't work very well for agile. See, what happens when you're using test cases and then you automate test cases is you look at the requirements, you write some test cases, you then check that those test cases work manually, and then you write some automated scripts. Now think of everything that happens between the time that you look at the requirements and that you automate the test scripts. You've basically waited for the whole implementation to go by. And what's the benefit for the team at that point? What's the benefit for the developers? What's the checkpoint for the BA? What's the checkpoint for the product owner when this happens so late on in the process? The answer is very little. There's very little value for the team as a whole. Sure, it might make manual testing a bit faster next time. But if you're in a state where you are laboriously analyzing requirements, writing test cases, scripting out, writing test scripts, manually running through those test scripts, let me tell you, you are still in waterfall mode. And if you want to get with the agile approach, if you want to actually achieve in sprint testing, if you want to achieve that state where by the end of a sprint, you have actually said, yes, this feature is good to go, absolutely. And here are the automated tests to check it. And I've done the exploratory testing to prove all the tricky edge cases and all the interesting things that we couldn't have picked up earlier. It's all good to go. If you can't guarantee that, if you have to wait till afterwards to write your automated tests, then how is that agile? How are you actually delivering a good product that's potentially shippable? The answer is you're not. So the trick is to forget about automating test scripts. The trick is to step back and think about how do you automate requirements? How do you model your specifications? How do you model your domain? How do you express your domain requirements, your domain constraints, your user journeys in a format that can then be automated, but that can be expressed in a way that can be basically the subject of a conversation with business folk. Now, this is BDD, this is model-based, we use model-based approaches for this as well. There are lots of ways to do that. But the point is, you're getting involved not just in reviewing requirements, not just in looking at requirements and writing test scripts right at the start. You are getting involved in collaborating and elaborating the requirements. And that is really, really key. So that's the point I want to leave with you today. Make sure don't stop automating test scripts, stop automating test cases, and get into automating requirements.